Hey everybody, welcome to RPM, Rock and Pop Mandolin, your site for learning classic rock and pop songs on this wonderful little 8-stringed instrument. My name is Mike DeJong, and in this video we have another installment of Mandolin Gear Talk. Today we're looking at a piece of hardware which could be very valuable for you if you want to record your mandolin either at home or out on location, or perhaps if you want to use it for making videos like this one that you want to post on YouTube. What I'm talking about is an audio interface, and specifically this audio interface made by a company called Focusrite. I will talk about this audio interface in a few minutes and give you all the details and show you, well, I'll demonstrate it a little bit in this video, both playing with a microphone input and playing with an instrument input. But first, I'd really like to say thank you to Sweetwater Sound out of the United States for sponsoring this video. Sweetwater has come on board with RPM and we really appreciate it. And they are sponsoring this video, and of course, you can purchase this product, the Focusrite audio interface, through Sweetwater links. Sweetwater is a major online music retailer, music instrument retailer in the States. If you check out the links down below, I will have links for many products from Sweetwater, including this audio interface and some of the other things that I use for mandolin recording and for playing live. So check out those links down below. And also, if you can, check out our Patreon links down below in the video description. We'd really love to have you come on board with us on Patreon as well. But that's enough business talk. Let's take a look at this Focusrite audio interface. It's called the Focusrite Scarlett Solo 3rd generation. We'll take a look at that here on RPM. Okay, taking a look at this little audio interface device made by Focusrite. It's a really indispensable piece of hardware if you want to record your mandolin in a professional manner at home or in the studio or even out at live gigs, all right? So it's a really good piece of hardware, and it is really small. It's just a little bit larger than, a large iPhone. Really, really convenient. Fits well in your bag if you want to use it for on-location recording or in the studio. And of course, it's an indispensable part of your home studio if you are recording at home, all right? So I will show you some of the features of this audio interface. It's called the Scarlett, all right? It's the Scarlett by Focusrite, and the model is Focusrite Solo 3rd generation. Focusrite makes a number of these Scarlett types of hardware, these Scarlett audio interfaces. I've got this one, which is probably the least expensive one, and the smallest one as well, but it does the job just as well as those other Scarlett interfaces as well. So let's take a look at all the features on this Scarlett, all right? Okay, I've zoomed in on the Focusrite Scarlett for you here. You can see several things happening there on the front of the Scarlett. You can see that little green light that's lighting up there on the left side. I guess that would be your left, my right side there. I'll tell you about that in a second. But first, let's describe all of the inputs and such on the front of the Scarlett interface here. So here, as you can see, you have an XLR input. I'm pointing to that. That is if you want to run a microphone into the Scarlett. It's a 2-channel piece of hardware, and that means you can put a microphone and an instrument into this at the same time if you want to. If you want to record both together, if you're a vocalist and you want to sing and play and record, you can do that with your mandolin or whatever. So here, right now, I have an XLR cable plugged into the end of the Scarlett, and it's going to this microphone here, this condenser microphone, all right? And right now, that's how you're picking up the mandolin, all right? An audio interface is kind of a go-between between the signal that you're producing with your mandolin through a microphone or through an instrument jack, and then it routes out to your computer. All right, so the back of the Focusrite has a USB out that goes into your computer, and from there, you can utilize whatever software you have, whether it's Logic Pro, as I use, or Pro Tools or something like that. All right, so the audio interface is a really key piece of hardware that works as a go-between between your microphone and your computer. All right, so here I have the mandolin feeding in through the XLR. All right, you can probably hear that. Sounds pretty good. All right, now you can see that little green light that's lighting up there. That is a really unique little feature of the Scarlett. That is a meter, and it's telling me right now that if I'm in the green, then my signal is good. It's not over-modulating. You want to avoid recording in the yellow and certainly in the red. Then you would be just too over-modulated. Your signal would not sound good. So the Scarlett gives you a little bit of a metering system there where you can see if you are still in the green, you're good to go. Next to the XLR input there, you can see a little button that says 48V. What does that mean? Well, that means 48 volts of phantom power. What is phantom power? Well, phantom power is the power that's being used to power this condenser microphone. A condenser microphone needs some kind of power to be able to work. It's a little bit different than your standard microphones, like your Shure microphones or some of the other ones that you would normally sing into live. Those don't require any extra power, but a condenser microphone certainly does, all right? So the Scarlett offers you the opportunity to engage 48 extra volts of power to power a condenser mic. Now, if I was using like a Shure SM58 microphone here or something like that, of course I would disengage that button down there, and I would no longer need the 48 volts of phantom power, so I would run it without. But for this video here with this microphone, I definitely need that extra little bit. Now, there's another little button next to the 48 volt phantom power button there that you can see, and that is a button that says air. All right, and that is a unique feature of this version of the Focusrite Scarlett, the Solo 3rd generation. When you engage the air button, and I'll do that right now here, you can see the air button down there. I will engage that, and it lights up. Can you see that? All right, so the air button, what it does is it adds an extra layer of highs for your recording. In other words, higher end signals, brighter signals. And so that may be very useful for you if you're recording acoustic guitars with the Focusrite. Maybe they're very bottom-endy and you want a little bit more brightness, a little bit more sheen off the top. You would engage that little button there that says air. Now, for the mandolin, I find the mandolin is already, obviously, very trebly and very high-pitched, so I don't use the air button on the Focusrite for the mandolin. I find I don't need any extra high-end for recording mando, so I will disengage that button here for the rest of this video. Next on the Focusrite, you can see there's another channel there, right here, and that is for a standard guitar jack. So you can plug in your guitar or your mandolin if you like. If you have a pickup like I do here, you can plug in your mandolin and record that way as well, recording direct rather than using a microphone. So that is another option. I generally don't do that with the Mando. I prefer having the nice condenser mic sound. I find that's a little bit warmer here in the studio setting. But if you want to record electric guitars, for example, or even acoustic guitars or some other instrument, bass, for example, then you'd want to plug in here to the instrument input on the Focusrite Scarlett. And of course, just above that, you have the level control for channel 2 in your instrument input as well. All right. Over here now, you have a headphone input, dedicated headphone input there, which is really cool. And this, of course, here controls your headphone level. And this button here is for monitoring what is coming in through these inputs. All right, so if you wanted to hear exactly what you're doing very clearly while you're recording, you'd be wearing some headphones and you would hit that monitor input button and you would hear exactly the signal that's coming in mixed with whatever music you are trying to match it with through your Pro Tools system or whatever your DAW happens to be playing or recording, all right? So that's a great way to really hear yourself clearly and to be able to double track or triple track or whatever songs you're doing, whatever work you're doing with your DAW or your digital audio workstation. All right, that's the front of the Focusrite Scarlett 3rd generation, the Solo Scarlett. On the back, you have your output. You have a USB output here, which goes into your computer, all right, and feeds into your computer. And then you also have two outputs here for external monitors. If you wanted to set up the Scarlett as part of your home recording system and use monitors rather than headphones, you would plug your monitors right in here with standard 1/4-inch jacks. Okay, those are the various features for the Focusrite Scarlett Solo 3rd generation. Let's give a listen and see how it sounds, all right? First, this is channel 1 using the condenser microphone into that XLR input on the Scarlett. All right, here we go. You can see it sounds really nice, a nice full tone. This isn't even an expensive mandolin either, so I can imagine if you had a really top-end, nice, expensive mandolin, this would be a perfect setup for you to record with. Now let's take a look at the direct input with the mandolin. Okay, you can see here I'm playing the mandolin now through the direct instrument input and the direct switch. The instrument switch has been engaged. A little bit different sound than you get from the condenser mic and the XLR input. In fact, some people might say it's a very different sound. Again, a little brighter, maybe not quite as warm as the microphone input. That's why I do prefer the condenser mic for recording mandolin at home. So this instrument input will work, and you can mix the two sounds if you'd like. You can take a recording from the microphone, the condenser mic sound, and then you can also double track it with your instrument line in, the mandolin line in, and mix the two and get a unique sound there, a little bit different type of mandolin sound. But certainly the Focusrite Scarlett offers you both opportunities, both options for recording. I would say the instrument input is probably better for electric guitars or bass, perhaps acoustic guitars that are very bottom-endy sounding. And you can also do a line in as well if you have a keyboard instrument or something like that you want to, a drum machine perhaps, that you want to connect to the Focusrite Scarlett as well. So definitely the Focusrite gives you two channels, two options for recording acoustic and electric instruments. Okay, a couple of other things to mention with the Focusrite Scarlett Solo 3rd generation. Here's the box for it, and nice little package, very nicely packaged. It comes with some software as well, some really useful software that I have been using for producing these mandolin videos for YouTube. And it really works well, the software for recording mandolin songs and tracks, things like that, all right? So the two pieces of software that you can get from Focusrite are both called Red. And one is a Red EQ, which is very, very useful. It's really good for EQing your sound, obviously, for fixing, right? You want to EQ your sound, really nice EQ. And you can also get the Focusrite Red compressor software as well for free as part of this package. Again, it is really cool. A compressor is a very key piece of software that you can use when you want to make your recording sound really professional, especially when you are mixing and mastering at the end. If you're mixing and mastering some tracks, the Focusrite Red EQ and the Focusrite Red compressor software. Okay, that is it. That is my review of the Scarlett by Focusrite, the Scarlett Solo 3rd generation. I urge you to check it out. And again, I urge you to check out those Sweetwater links down below where you can find the link to buying this product if you like. And of course, I get a small commission if you do purchase anything through those Sweetwater links. But definitely also check out some of the other links that I have down below for equipment that I personally use and endorse. Thanks very much for watching RPM. My name is Mike DeJong.